Welcome to your daily focus for October the 20th, 2016. My name is Tilly and this is Tarot with Tilly. And before we begin, thank you. Thank you truly for all of the support that you give me each and every day. It's beautiful, it's positive, it's loving, and thank you so, so much. Now, let's see what the energy is going to be for us today. The Three of Wands, back again. The Ten of Cups, our happily ever after. The Eight of Swords. And we can't get away from these kinds of cards, can we? I feel like I need to pull one more and cross it over, the Ten of Cups, so I will. Look at that, the Queen of Cups. Well, the moon starts out in Gemini, but it quickly goes into Cancer today. We still have the sun in Libra. We have Venus, who is in the first degrees of Sag, which lessens the intense emotions, definitely, when it comes to relationships. And I think the moon is somehow having a conversation with Venus today. So we might get very specific about what we love and what we don't love. What we need in our life and what we don't need in our life. What brings us happiness, contentment, joy, security, inner security, confidence. Our self-confidence is raised. And looking at I think the expansion, I think of how we can grow on things. You know, we got the Queen of Cups with the Ten of Cups there right in the middle. We're looking for our happily ever after. We're looking, well, let's not jump the gun until we get the Angel card here. We'll do them in order, but that one's got me thinking, look at that, the Phoenix Rebirth, 68. So 6 plus 8 is 14 is 5, which is the adventure. Setting on the adventure. It's leaning towards the adventure. It's having maybe the courage. Could be the courage. Okay, let's start with the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, we stand there very securely planted on that shoreline and we look out into our tomorrow. We look out towards the possibilities of what can be in our life, what we can invite into our life, what we can step towards in our life. And here we're kind of weighing it out. You know, the sun is in the last degrees of Libra, so we are really going to be weighing things out. What matters, what doesn't matter. What do we need in our life? What is the right move forward? So I think today is still a day of weighing it out. Now, I see that ship coming back at you like it's the ship of abundance. So if you're taking in the information, if you're asking the questions, I think yesterday was the ask the questions. Could have been the day before. But that curious Gemini moon, and maybe even this morning, we still ask a couple of key questions in order to make the right decisions, in order to make a decision that allows us to feel grounded. We follow our gut, we follow our intuition. Queen of Cups, we do have a diplomat on the board today. So that's good. We'll be able to lean on that Libra sun a little bit. And the moon, or not the moon, but Mercury is still in Libra. We have Jupiter, our expansion, our good fortune, our luck in Libra as well, in making the right decisions and understanding what the true balance needs to be. So if we have acted the diplomat, we know the answers. Do we like the answers? That's a whole other thing, but I think we know. I think we know deep down in our hearts what our happily ever after would really truly look like. And we have the Queen of Cups, so it's, you know, I see the Strength card, so it is through compassion, it's through love, it's through understanding. It's through understanding what the other person brings to the table, or how they'll take the information because of the footsteps they've walked on their path. But first and foremost, before anything, the Queen of Cups is love yourself. And there are so many times when I am saying, join a charity, help out your neighbor, go and give a compliment to somebody, pay it forward in some way. But you need to pay it forward with yourself today. You need, just like, and the energy has been this way. We need to understand that ego isn't always the worst thing in the world. So long as we are doing it through compassion, we're doing it through love. We're trying to make a better place for ourselves, for others, a better world perhaps, bring happiness and joy into other people's lives. But while it is bringing happiness and joy into our life, that we are not self-sacrificing in some way. Here we have the Eight of Swords. When the Eight of Swords, I mean, we need to take off the blindfold. We need to understand that where we have put limitations on ourselves are just that, limitations that we've put on ourselves. And so we may break free today. We may understand that those swords are behind us. We may understand that we weren't as tightly bound as we thought to staying in the same place or doing the same thing or living in the same type of routine or relationship or situations. And I think when we're in this kind of state, we're fearful of going forward. We don't know it's safer to keep that blindfold on in many ways, we think. To not look at the problems, to not look at the issues, to not look at what brings stress into our lives so that we can diminish it, so we can dissipate it, so we can move past it. And maybe it's hard at first. Maybe you get resistance at first. And so we quit very easily and we put the blindfold back on because that didn't work. Instead of persevering, instead of being determined and knowing that you're going to break through, and knowing that you can go forward. We have the Phoenix here. Rebirth. The Phoenix rising out of the ashes to be reborn. The new beginning. We have a new moon coming up on the 30th. So yes, we are closing doors right now. We are using that full moon energy that we just came off of in Aries, which is also a cardinal sign, and moving forward into new possibilities. New ways of doing, new ways of being, new ways of becoming. And it could be our personality or viewpoints, our perceptions, the way we offer love, the way we receive love. Because the Phoenix is the old can burn away and a new us can emerge, a truer us, a truer self. To stand strong and in the confidence of who you are and what you bring to the table, what you bring to the world. And it's giving yourself the credit today. It's understanding the miracle that is you. Understanding your gifts, understanding your passions, understanding your drives, your determination, what you want to go after as far as goals and dreams and desires. You're happily ever after. Contentment, security, loved ones, close relationships, warmth, happiness, abundance. It all starts with believing in yourself, believing in you. Could be a strong day for affirmations again. It could be a strong day, to make that decision. To make that decision that you are going to go forward in some way. Through sheer force, through sheer determination, to knowing that that's where you need to go. and understanding that you need to act on something. And ripping off that blindfold and looking it straight in the eye and saying, yes, this is for me. This is what I want. This moves me forward. Let's see what our wise animals have to say about today for us. So I think it's very empowering today. I mean, if you look at all these cards together here, let's really fast, okay? Okay, the flame, the fire, the energy that surrounds us allows us to burn away the old, to maybe put closure on stuff or healing on things. It might bring out repressed parts of yourself or unacknowledged parts of yourself, and where you have been limiting yourself, where you have actually put the blindfold on and not even realized that the blindfold is there because it's been there so long that you're used to looking at things that way. Meditation, prayer, affirmations, but affirmations, I think, I did the new moon affirmation, and it really builds you up for the beauty of you. And there's a lot of wonderful affirmations in that one. Yeah. I mean, take a couple. Make a mission statement for yourself. Say, this is who I am. This is who I'm becoming. This is where I'm going. And get excited about your future. Under the radar, the possum. Under the radar. So, warrior, practical, assess. When the oak is felled, the whole forest echoes with its fall, but 100 acorns are sown in silence by an unnoticed breeze. The possum is a master actor, knowing which role to play at the proper time. Possums have practical and intelligent energies that help them assess the situation as to which part they should play. If they feel threatened, they play dead. Possums has entered your life today because it wants you to embrace your inner warrior. It is a time for you to go under the radar until the situation feels safe once more. Be careful how you use your words at this time, as you may injure relationships and cause even more ripples. Oh, and that is definitely Mars crossing over Pluto, and that's today too, isn't it? Words the strongest. And that is the take no prisoners. That is where we can ruffle feathers. That's where we can get into power struggles. That's where we can get so over the top, filled with passions, that we actually can burn ourselves out before we even start. So truly needing to be the diplomat. So listen closely to possum. Be careful how you use your words at this time, as you may injure relationships and cause even more ripples. Instead, take some time to allow any arguments or miscommunications to quiet, and then don't bring them up. You don't always have to be right. And sometimes stepping away from the situation helps us to heal more quickly and effectively. You may notice that work situations may feel difficult and transitions are happening. Don't start fretting that your job is in danger. Instead, let things play out around you. And I think that's very, very strong, letting things play out, going with the flow, but asking your questions, understanding it from a diplomatic point of view. You'll know when you need to speak up. And if it's something that is being imposed upon you, I don't think that's going to be allowed right now. I think that's where we'll get our dander up. That's where we'll get our backs against the wall. That's where we come out fighting. That's where we don't care what ruffles or what feathers we ruffle. Because we don't care what bridges we burn. We don't care what toes we step on. Because we get we're fueled by this passion, this energy to go forward, to step into new beginnings. I mean, it's so strong with some of these cards. You have the phoenix rising out of the ashes, being reborn, new paths. And then we have at the very beginning the Three of Wands, and so we are making the decision. We are weighing things out. So it's not necessarily saying that we are making the decision today, but we don't want to step into something because we're being fueled by the wrong energy. We want to make sure that we're moving forward very much like these two cards here say, for all the right reasons. That it's not fueled by anger or hatred or guilt or shame or, that you got to prove yourself even though you don't even want to really do it anymore. You got to prove yourself because you opened up your mouth one time and said you were going to do it, and now you feel like you have to, or people are going to point and laugh. You really have to say, what brings me in balance? What brings me in security? What raises my self-confidence? Where do I want to go? What needs to be in my life in order for it to look like my happily ever after? And we need to listen to Possum. We don't want to say something that's going to make matters worse. We want to, the moon's in Cancer, right? So we want that friendship. We want that peace. We want that alliance. We want that happiness. We want that home-centered feeling, that loving feeling. So take that step back. I know I've said that a lot over the last couple of days, but it still applies today. Take that step back. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. Think about your words. Think about your actions. Think about why you want to win this battle. Because remember, you ultimately want to win the war. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.